welcome back again to our channel. Thank you to all our attendees, our viewers online, rather. So here with us, I have Savanna Wilson, who is the expansion leader for Norsken in Rwanda. So here what we're going to do is really have a fireside chat. And a fireside chat is really an informal conversation between an interviewer and a speaker. And I would very much like to take a conversational approach so that our viewers can feel like they're immersed in a personal conversation. And before we get into it, Savanna, I would like to take a few minutes to set the context here. We have invited Savanna to be part of our local event because the global theme here is people and talent, specifically in the fintech space. And Norsken has a special history with fintech. And I won't give away too much yet because I know Savanna is a great storyteller. And without further ado, I'd like to let Savanna jump into it. Tell us a little bit more about you and about Norsken. Over to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm really excited to be here and get to tell you this story. So we do have a special connection to fintech, and that's because our founder, Nicholas Adalbert, he co-founded a company called Klarna, which is one of the largest banks in Europe at the moment. So they work across 17 different countries. They have over 200,000 consumers that they deal with and merchants. So he did exceptionally well with his fintech company, and then decided that he wanted to pursue Norsken full-time. And Norsken's main ambition, what you would have seen in the video, is really to support startups that are going to have a positive impact on the world. And he really wanted to help these startups in 3 ways. So the first way is there is a Stockholm house, which houses 450 impact entrepreneurs in Stockholm in Sweden. The second way they help entrepreneurs is through a VC fund backed by unicorn founders, himself and others. Mm-hmm. And the third way that they help entrepreneurs is that they have an Impact Week. We have special initiatives, one being Impact Week, which is basically a set of events that all are designed to really highlight startups that are doing something powerful and impactful for the world, mm-hmm. and give them the exposure that they really deserve. So that's our journey and where we've come from. And Norsken has been around for about 3.5 years. Okay. And they have now decided that they wanted to expand and take things further. And so that is why they decided to expand to Rwanda, and that's why I'm sitting here.
Wonderful, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Let me piggyback off what you just said. You decided to expand. So in the expansion process, why did you choose Rwanda?
Amazing question, and I'm really delighted to get to answer it. So first of all, we knew that Africa is the future. Right. The population is expanding. This is where all of the innovation is going to come out of. We knew that. So we then came down and we explored the usual candidates. We explored South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, and Rwanda. And we landed on Rwanda for a couple of reasons that I'd love to share with you. Okay. The first being its strategic positioning. Mm-hmm. It really gives us great access to Central and East African markets, mm-hmm. which is obviously fantastic. The second reason is obviously it's second in Africa for ease of doing business. Mm-hmm. You can set up a business within 48 hours. I know this, I've had to do this, so I completely understand the process of setting up here is seamless and is really supported here. The other reason is really because the government's focus is on ICT and innovation, and that's really an area where we felt we could contribute and add value with our experience. So that was really why we landed on Rwanda. There's obviously an assortment of other reasons, but those were the top 3.
It's great to hear you say that. We welcome you again, and we're glad to know that you're having a seamless process in, establishing Norsken. And I, for one, cannot wait to see you expand in Rwanda and make it the biggest hub of entrepreneurship in East Africa. Can you give us an example of some of the fintechs that you've helped scale. I understand that you are trying to expand into Africa so that you can help entrepreneurs within the African continent and give them access to a better market or give them access to content that will help them grow. How do you have a few examples for us?
I actually do. Even though we haven't actually started and we still have to build our hub, I had the fantastic opportunity to meet Matt, who runs a great company called Hive Online. And I met them in Stockholm, in our Stockholm house. And they, interestingly enough, had developers in Rwanda. And when I got here, I had the opportunity to help grow their team. So they're looking to expand within Rwanda. So I helped connect them to local HR companies, but as well as suggested a couple of people that they could hire, which is great. And we also connected them to Social Enterprise Ghana. And they are now also going to be doing a project next year in Ghana. So they've now scaled to Ghana. So that's just one example that we have, bringing from Sweden down to Rwanda to sort of scale it.
Great. And I hear you talk about talent here, introducing Hive to, local talent companies or local hiring agencies. While we're on the talent development topic, what's Norsken's approach to talent development? Is there anything you have in plans for the Rwandan workforce?
Absolutely. So when we did a market analysis, we really identified that talent was a challenge area for a lot of startups.
Right.
And when we did our sort of speaking to entrepreneurs across East Africa, it seems like it is quite a challenge. So what we have suggested, or what we're going to explore as ways to tackle this challenge, is firstly, we really want to set up partnerships with all of the universities that we can. We want to work very closely with ALU. We're in discussions with ALU on potentially facilitating internships with our startups. So they not only get the academic experience, they get the practical experience as well, which we hope will then facilitate more input into local startups and help with the talent development. The other way that we're planning on helping with that challenge is we're going to be working with state-of-the-art, world-class accelerator programs, and we're hoping that they can be magnets to draw in local talent from East Africa, but from across Africa. And we really hope that will also help with the talent. And then the last way, and probably the most challenging way, but one I'm most passionate about, is we really want to facilitate digital internships, ideally physical internships when we can, for the diaspora. Because what we want to do is we want to de-risk coming back, and we want to showcase that there are so many opportunities here, and we want to give people that access. So hopefully those are a couple of ways that we're going to try and tackle the issue of talent.
Great. It sounds like you have a great plan for talent development. And I love that a lot of that has to do with actual practical skills, matching the talent demand with the talent supply. But often ways when you talk about talent, we're talking about hard skills, we're talking about soft skills, and educational, courses within the curriculum. There is something that I find interesting through mentorship. And I think that one of the ways talent can grow and improve its skill set is through mentorship. Yet sometimes it's really overlooked. We don't really emphasize much about mentorship. So given the network of founders that Norsken has, do you think that Norsken will be a source of mentorship for Rwandans and the East African hub in general?
Absolutely. So I think that's one of our biggest value adds, is that we have this fantastic network across Europe of not only founders but also investors that can also sort of mentor startups here on how do you access risk capital that will enable you to scale across the continent. So absolutely, mentorship is a big aspect. I think one other way that we plan on looking at mentorship is we really want to have scholarship programs where we sort of bring in entrepreneurs on a scholarship basis. And one aspect of that scholarship will be that they would need to come back and mentor the next set of scholars that come in. And I think that's how we want to really tackle it locally, because we want to make sure that we're creating a culture of mentorship. And I think that needs to happen locally and internationally, because they add different perspectives and different value.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. While we're still on the topic of mentorship, I think a lot of times mentorship works well if both the mentors and the mentee are in close proximity of each other. And I understand that you have a location in Kigali. Are you able to reveal the secret location?
Absolutely. So we are currently located, we bought a property right in the heart of Kigali in the financial district. So we're surrounded by the banking, about 5 different banks actually.
Okay. That's great to hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially for our viewers online, if you're interested, in what Norsken has to offer, which I believe you will be interested in. Please look out for an official launch, hopefully sometime in the next few months. We won't disclose the dates yet. But Savanna, if you could change one thing about the current FinTech ecosystem, what would it be?
Well, I'm glad you asked. It ties into the previous point. We really want to be able to work more with corporates and bring corporates into the startup ecosystem. And I found that doesn't necessarily happen as much as we would like it to here. So what we're trying to do is we really wanted to be in the heart of the financial district to be able to pull that area in, because we've seen that that's really where innovation can happen. When you have these big and small players come in, that's when the acquisitions happen, that's when the mergers happen, and that really enables growth. So if there was one thing that I hope that we will be able to sort of facilitate, is definitely that connection between corporates and startups, and spark that innovation.
Amazing. While we're on the note, on this hopeful note, unfortunately, we'll have to conclude this session, cut it a little bit short as we run into the next session, which will be the closing remarks for this wonderful local event that we've been running today. And I could not thank you enough, Savanna, for spending this few minutes with me on this panel, telling our viewers about the amazing initiative that Norsken is undertaking. So again, stay tuned for the amazing work that Norsken is about to do. And I, for one, again, cannot wait to see this hub become one of the biggest entrepreneurship hub in East Africa. Thank you to all viewers. We'll see you in a few minutes.